think we are live. Sorry about the other night and the delay for tonight, but I'm having some internet technical issues, but it looks like the stream's good. Thank you everybody for coming in and joining. Let me move this over here so I don't have to stare over there. So after some technical issues the other night with my laptop, I'm not exactly sure what happened. It just decided it needed a siesta, but it appears to be working tonight. I might actually have to move at some point to hardwire it to the internet to make sure I get a better internet connection. So hopefully everything what people are seeing is good in quality. The purpose of tonight's video is to review where the deflection has moved to and to remove the weights and see it start to come back to the norm. Hey Curve Pimp, feck you. Thank you guys for coming back. Thank you so much for following along. All the words of encouragement are amazing. They keep me driving through this experiment. As you can see, the second camera is still gone. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to resolve that until I'm actually able to get back into the room, which isn't going to be for another 3, 4, 5 days after today. Hey Marvel, thanks for coming, sweetie. So we can do a quick review of the vibration sensors. You can see there's a 2 bump in the box, again, which isn't much. 2 bump on the bar. Again, when I was doing my tests, a tap of about that was enough to cause serious oscillation and to be able to see it on the bar. Hey Tommy, hello from Norway. Let's look at the laser. Let's get down close in. So the black line is the left mark for the laser where we started. So I'm not sure exactly why we're so fuzzy on the camera today. I wish I had a better camera in there, but I think this is about what it was last time as well. You can see from this, we've deflected about 5 or 6 millimeters, but clear deflection because we were solid on that black line. Hey honey, my wife's back. I love you. So first thing we need to do is mark where this is. So that once we remove the weights, we know where to measure from. So we're right about there. So we've got a clear 6 to 7 millimeter deflection. And after the next couple videos, I'm going to do a compilation of start, middle, end, and give all the data. So if anybody wants to try and crunch the numbers, they can. Hey TNT, thanks for coming. So again, our top-down view is not here. Here we've got the room, and I'm just going to do the marking on this one. One thing I need to pull up, which I forgot to have ready, is the Arduino software. Give me one moment. I need to be able to control the motor. There we go. Okay, and then pull up the monitor. Bring me back over here. Back over here. And we'll go to the experiment. We will turn the Arduino visualization back on. I will pull that up. And again, to double check, because this is where I don't want to go the wrong direction. Because going the wrong direction here would be catastrophic because it would immediately collide with the weights. Thanks, feck you. Yeah, and when I say that I'm going to do the math as well, I mean AB Science. Yeah, I'm not smart enough to figure out the math. I'll give you guys all the numbers. My goal was just to be able to see mass attracting mass. And I think that I can say that we've been a success so far. So we need to go 5,600. I need to go anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise is plus. 5600 and enter. So we can see it's moving. Let's get close in on the laser. And I've seen this every time as well. Every time I pull the weight away, there's an initial pull with the weight, and then it comes back. So we can go back to the room. And just so you know, when that's the light is dipping out, that's because the weights are blocking the reflection as it's coming back towards the wall. And it should reappear here in just a second. There it is. Yes, John, it did stabilize. It took 4 days. It took 4 days for this to come to a rest, which was more than I was expecting. But I can't do the next phase until it has come to that resting point so we can do the measurement. And now, just like last time, there was that little bit of a rest period before it starts to pull back towards the norm. Slowly swinging back. Thank you, everybody, for the warm welcome to my wife and my family. It means a lot. And we are going back. And just like when we introduced the weights, it's going to take another 3-4 days for this to go back to the normal of where that wire is at its 0 point, where it's at its resting point. And you can see it's going past, and it's going to go past. And for the next 3 or 4 days, it's going to swing back and forth. Somebody knows who I am. Is that Johnny? No, who is that? And yes, Trevor is an enabler. Totally an enabler. Yeah, Tommy, it's like magic. It's almost like gravity is a real thing. Almost. Not quite. Almost. Maybe it's magic. Not positive. By the end of this, we might be able to prove that it's magic. I'm glad you understand it now, Jimmy. It takes a little bit to understand, to grasp the concept of what this experiment is meant to do, but it works. Unless somebody can provide another reason for what it's doing. It could be magnetism, but I've demonstrated that there's no magnetic fields around the weights. It could be electrostatic, but I've removed all the electrostatics. Pete Shea poked his head in here after the last one, and he tried to tell me that it was the ether. Show me some evidence of ether, and we can discuss it. Yeah, it would be easy to be a flurfer, because then you could just deny everything and make up your own reality. Curve Pimp, it'd be nice if you could turn off gravity once in a while, though, because it'd be pretty cool to fly. I wouldn't deny that. It would be pretty cool to fly. And now we see the oscillation. Again, coming back because we have now changed the magnetic field around the weights. We have changed the magnetic, or the gravitational field, the gravitational influence of the small weight. We have changed that so it clearly has an effect. Marvel, I would talk to Mark. I've messaged him a couple times. He hasn't responded to me in the last couple messages. I don't think Mark cares. I honestly don't think he cares about anything that disagrees with his opinion. Yeah, John, it's crazy that it's going to take that long to rest, but that's how sensitive this system is. You have to have that very sensitive wire so that it can feel those effects. If you have too stiff of a wire, you bring in the bigger weights, and it's not going to move. That effect, the gravitational effect of the heavier weights, is not enough to overcome the spring or torsion effect of the wire, the hanging wire. So Tommy, just go back to the same distance past the starting point as the distance to where before you remove the weights. So when we added the weights and it pulled it over, I could go back and look, but I didn't record it all. It probably swung back just as far at the beginning of that oscillation. It should be about the same-ish. The key is the end point, where it reaches the happy medium with the weight and the extra gravitational field, and the happy medium of the nothing but the Earth gravitational field. It is a blue snowball. Thanks, Curve Pip. I have a problem. I can hear my breath every time I record anything, and I spend half of my editing out my voice or my breaths. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit farther away. I'm not an audio guy. I've asked for a lot of help to the audio, but it's a blue snowball. Nothing special. But unlike Mark Sargent, he holds his on his chest, which is kind of weird. Yeah, Wilgert, it is moving because of gravity. Mass attracting mass, so easy to prove. 1, find a friend. There's a great attraction to detail. 2, have him video all his work. 3, watch the video while you're sipping your morning coffee. See? Easy. Yeah, Dan, yes, it is that easy. You've got the easy part. How did you manage the relative density to generate this movement? I don't got a smart-ass comment for that. Magic. We'll just say magic. And if anybody has noticed, in honor of the upcoming Storm Area 51 5K fun run, I am wearing my Area 52 t-shirt. Alien on the back. It's so cool there, but I'd have to kill you if I told you. So that's about it for tonight. Just wanted to, again, live broadcast. I'm not fooling around anything. I haven't changed anything in that room. We can go back to the room view. I have not been in this room. I haven't been in this room for almost 2 weeks now. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to end this stream. We will pick it back up in 4 days. That one will be a very brief stream because that is just going to go to show we're back at that black line. Because honestly, if we don't end up back on that black line, something else has changed the norm towards that wire, be it the wire itself, be it some of the linkages moving around, something like that. Sit still, don't mess up the movements. I'm going to go over by the door and have my mass affect it. Thanks, Gary. It's an experiment I've wanted to do for a long time. So this is a proud moment for me. Look up at what? What am I looking up at, Marvel? Yes, this is like watching paint dry. My original intent was to live stream the entirety of it, but 4 days of this would very much be like watching paint dry. Hey, Jared. So, Jared, I ran into an old boss of mine that I worked for in Iraq 15 years ago, and I haven't seen him since, and he cursed me out because I haven't aged a day since then. So, I don't know what it is. Good genes, not working out, eating like crap, and marrying an amazing woman. I think that kind of covers it. Marvel, you asked a question. What's your question? What was your question? Look up. Oh, sorry. I literally looked up. I'm a dumbass. Marvel. What did Cavendish use? Rope or some kind of wire? I am not positive. I have heard that he tried to use horsehair, and don't quote me, that might be completely wrong, but I'll research that. That's interesting. Not sure what he used. So, firm matters. For the less knowledgeable peeps, what's the purpose of this experiment? Um, the purpose of this experiment is to measure gravity. The original intent of this, Cavendish wanted to measure the mass of the Earth, because the prior supposition had been that mass attracts mass. So how do you measure that? If you put two heavy objects next to each other on the table, yes, in theory, they are attracting each other. But there are so many other forces at play, the Earth pulling them down, the friction on the table, preventing them to come closer. So Cavendish designed this experiment to try and remove as many other variables as he could so that those masses could actually attract each other without the influence of anything else. Even though it's still being influenced by the Earth, but it's being somewhat negated by being suspended. He didn't come near it. He had no other heavy masses near it. This was the best design at the time to allow two masses to attract each other without being prevented from doing that by other outside forces. So, yeah, guessing that it's the wife. I'm 41 as well, Jimmy. Yeah, I'll turn 42 in January. Hugo, thank you. Thank you very much. Spanish-speaking community present here in your experiment, thank you. If I could speak another language, but I'm an American, so I speak English poorly. I apologize for that. I'd been requested at one point to try and make some educational videos about this experiment to explain it. I will definitely do that. And when I do that, I'm probably going to reach out to some other people to do some in foreign languages so that it can be presented to kids in other countries so that they can understand how this experiment works, what it's for, how it works, why it works, and what it demonstrates. Yeah, Dan. Everybody guesses me for a lot younger than I am. I am 41. In 2 weeks, I hit my 20 years of active duty service in the military. A month after that, my wife and I celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. Sadly, I will still be in Korea. But we will be celebrating together at heart. And then in November, back together as a family. Definitely, feck you. Definitely. As soon as I put all those together, I'll reach out to you and anybody else who's got any other foreign languages that can do the voiceovers. Oh, you hush, Marvel. Thanks, Gary. I'm proud of it. It's going to be heartbreaking when I have to tear the dang thing down. Thank you, Chris. So we've been going for about 20 minutes or so, other than just chatting with everyone. I love you all. It's amazing to have this many people following. Thank you for coming along. Please share these videos, like, subscribe, do all those kind of things. I know the vast majority of the world doesn't care about the flat earth community, which is fine and is probably what we should all be doing. But I really encourage everyone to share the Cavendish videos, because those are, while they're connected to the flat earth community, they show pure science. So I request you to share those far and wide, make these well known, because you don't see a Cavendish experiment to this extent too often. Somebody tried to do one last year in his garage. He ended up not finishing. I tried to reach out to him, but this is something I'm pretty proud of. So please share it. Thank you all very much for following and for all your kind comments. Am I a tinkerer in general, or did you just interested in doing this experiment? I am a tinkerer. I'm not a smart tinkerer. Generally, the things I tinker with, I destroy. But back home, I have built a trebuchet. I have built a forge for melting aluminum. I've built a potato gun. Generally, when my wife leaves me alone for a week, I build something really weird. Um, Generally not the best of what I could build, but it works. So yeah, I like building things like this, building odd things. John, thank you again. Thank you so much for your support. Later, Wolfgang. Have fun over at Jose's. All right, everybody. I will call it quits there as the mosquitoes flying around me. Die, you little bastard. Um, Thank you for coming along. It's been a great ride. Almost there for the first full run. 4 days. We'll come back for the final check. And then after that, I'll do a compilation video of all the different images, because after that last one, to prove that it goes back to the black line, I can finally get back in that room and take some measurements. And then I can put all of you amazing people that have been supporting's names into the box, so I can give credit to everybody that has been part of this project. Thanks, Tommy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming around. Until next time, peace.